Let's still stay in the mining industry because the news center is reporting state capture unfolds. And the story is that the reassignment of the Bogoso-Prestea gold mine lease to Heath Goldfields has ignited one of the most contentious disputes in Ghana's mining history. The action provoked accusations that the Ministry of Land and Natural Resources, the Minerals Commission, and the Heath Goldfields acted in concert to unlawfully dispossess future global resources and its special purpose vehicle, Blue Gold Bogoso-Prestea Limited, for their mining lease. Now, the story says, with financial commitment secured, NASDAQ listed backing in place, and ministerial conditional approval granted, there was no lawful basis to revoke the lease. Yet, the Minerals Commission and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources withheld essential permit, creating an artificial default. Heath Goldfields, a company incorporated only on February 6, 2024, with a stated capital of 10,000 cedis, applied for the Bogoso-Prestea mining lease just a week later, on February 13, despite the fact that the lease was still legally held at the time by FGR Blue Gold. By a letter dated November 12, 2024, the Ministry of Land and Natural Resources approved the Minerals Commission's recommendation to reassign the lease to Heath Goldfields. Well, that's where we are. You're a lawyer. Let me start with you. I mean, they say that they were legally...
Whose opinion is that?
This one. Yeah. Is the FGR Blue Gold who is also making these allegations?
I think it was written by one of
Elvis Darko is the writer anyway.
Of course. It's sad. I mean, but why are you surprised? Are you surprised that the president is trying to take this for his brother?
Oh, no, this is not his brother.
You can say that.
Heath Goldfields has nothing to do with Ibrahim Mahama.
All these we will come out. I mean, but
well, you know something more than we know.
For me, I believe that once we talk about state capture, it's becoming obvious that the president really wants his brother to take, in fact, more or less over our mining industry. I mean, it happened during his last administration before he left. He eventually assigned all the bauxite to his brother. He had to take the court to declare the said mining lease as illegal. Because
lawyer. No, did the writer mention Brahim's name?
I'm just saying.
So why you you don't?
But why you?
I'm just saying. Let me make my point. You are talking about state.
My God.
So let me make my point.
God.
So I'm saying that
MPP. No wonder your party's collapsed.
The kind of government we have right now, they have just decided that they are going to share the state resources. I mentioned the bauxite that the president gave to his brother, this particular one. They are talking about state capture. And it looks to me that the administration is bent on sharing the resources. And I am not surprised. This is an unfolding story. I'm yet to look at it into detail, but hopefully the people of Ghana will see what this president is doing. They, like I said, they promise us virtue, and they're actually practicing vice. When they were campaigning under the last administration, they accused the former president, the same words, state capture. But here we are, just 9 months down the line, this is what is happening. Hopefully.
But I guess your argument would be valid if Ibrahim Mahama's name was really mentioned with Heath.
You sit down.
It's not there.
We are waiting for a name. They set up companies to take over these states. You will see.
So you're only assuming.
Start your investigation and you will see. I won't tell you. Start your investigation. Why do you think you will see the names Ibrahim Mahama?
But if you won't see it, why
they set up companies to do this?
No, but if you won't see Ibrahim Mahama on the papers, why do you?
So why do you think the writer captured it as state capture? Why do you think the writer, the one you read it to me, why do you think he captioned this as state capture? We will see. That's what the media, you were praising this when they were campaigning. There's state capture here, state capture there. Now, 2025, it's getting worse. That's what I would say. We live to see.
You see, I believe in the truth, okay?
What is the truth?
And that is why many people may not be able to have the ability to take what I say in some of the things that I say. Because you see, I don't like saying things that are not true.
You.
The writer expresses his opinion without any evidence whatsoever at all.
No, he's not expressing an opinion. It's based on fact that he has.
No.
If you read it, he has a lot of facts.
Again, that remains his fact.
So now we have two facts.
But you can go and verify.
Can you say that remains two facts?
Sorry,
They are not
he's
two
not
different
writing.
facts. There's only one fact.
He's not writing from my perspective. And I don't think that he's forcing me to believe what he's writing. Neither will anybody force him to write what he do not believe. Again, I am telling you, I am part of Land and Natural Resource Committee in Parliament.
Okay, you are on the committee. I didn't know
serious, you know. And these matters came to our attention. The minister acted appropriately. Every considerations and concerns were taken into consideration. Every concern were taken into consideration. And I think that you're a journalist, a very good one at that. Go and look at the documents and read.
Okay.
And you will understand that there is no state capture, there is nothing that we did wrong, and the government was actually on point.
So why was it reassigned to Heath? What did Heath have over
And that
FGR?
is what you need to be finding out.
Oh, you are on the committee, so you know I want you to tell us.
That is what you need to be finding out. Don't forget, these are business that we're talking about. These are industries that are sometimes be protected. And so you don't think I should come and sit on TV and be telling things that I don't even have details.
The story says,
so for me, look at it.
Heath was formed,
these are things
was incorporated on February 6, 2024 with a stated capital of 10,000 cedis. Per the document you saw.
With the greatest of respect, I don't have the Registrar General's document right here with me, and so I cannot be making those statements to that.
But did they show financial wherewithal when they came to you?
Of course, why will they not? But you don't want me to sit here.
How much did they show?
You don't want me to sit here and be talking about their capital.
But once you're on the and you're educating Ghanaians.
So you don't want me.
You're educating Ghanaians.
So the point I'm making to you is that all I can say is that all concerns were taken on board, decisions were made on its merit, and I think that's all we're supposed to say here. If you want to know more, get to the minister, and I think that the right to information, you know, is so you can go in there and get the information.
Oh, but if we have a committee member who knows about it, why would we have to go throughout?
You cannot sit on TV and be talking about people's businesses without authorization. Ooh. That is not right.
Interesting. Okay.
That is all. So the guy expressed his opinion, and I think you're a journalist.
So what led to the reassignment? What was wrong with FGR? What were the issues?
I'm sure that we all heard what we were thinking. Everything that we talked about was everywhere. Everybody knew. We don't want to be talking about that now. What I can say is the best decision was taken for this country, and that's what I can say for now. That's what I can say. I don't think you want to force me to say what I don't want to say.
Have they started development, Heath?
I think so. I think so.
Okay. You are just a committee, actually.
Well, I think it's worth investigating by the media. Every issue has two or more sides.
Yeah.
And the tendency of politicians to refract issues in partisan lenses has always been legendary.
Okay.
So it's up to the media to ferret the truth from these two sides and then feed the public accordingly.
Okay.
My boss, you see,
generally do a good job.
Political lenses in itself are not wrong.
Okay.
It depends on how political lens and which lens you're using to see.
If it's NDC lens, it's okay.
Again, when you are taking a decision that will inure to the benefit of the Ghanaian people, it doesn't matter if it is political or not, but when you are taking a decision that is going to go into one person's pocket against the entire nation, like we saw in your administration, then you can talk about it. But politics is not anything wrong. We do politics and it's acceptable. So we can
they made your political
lenses,
because the other Ghanaians sees politicians as people who are righteous in West but impure in this.
Okay,
that's your opinion, sir. I mean, I can't fight your opinion.
Let's bring in Enoch Afuakwa on this. He's a lawyer, just like John Darko.
I hope he tells the truth anyway.
Enoch, help us understand what are the elements to say that what is happening between FGR and Heath is or amount to state capture? You probably understand this field, so you can help us and appreciate it better.
Kojo, let me say a very good morning to yourself and to my senior colleagues on your platform, your guest this morning. And I must say that there is nothing, there's nothing in between FGR, Blue Gold, and Heath Goldfields, because Heath Goldfields went through the due process in acquiring the leasehold as far as the Bogoso-Prestea mine is concerned.
Okay.
If you recall, sometime in September 2020, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources at the time granted approval to the takeover of the assets of Golden Star Resources to FGR Resources now 10 Blue Gold Resources or Blue Gold Limited. Pursuant to that, we all believe that the assets of the Bogoso-Prestea mine was in a state that needed some capital injection as far as to run the mine to the path of profitability. And that the Bogoso-Prestea mine needed a strategic investor. That resulted in the takeover by the FGR Resources, proving that they had the financial mettle and the technical know-how to be able to uplift the standing of the mines and to run it to the path of profitability. But what did we see forthwith? 3 years after the takeover, the mine became bedeviled with debt. Salaries and emoluments of workers were unpaid for over 2 years.
Okay.
Electricity bills were unpaid for several months, several years. Taxes and other things, in terms of mineral grants and ground rent and other things, royalties were not being paid and a whole lot of things. So what was the business of the state at the time? The business of the state at the time was for the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources to issue a notice pursuant to Regulation 200, Sub-Regulation 3 of LI 2176, the mining licensing regulation, to give notice to FGR Resources to remedy the breaches of their mining lease. And the remedy were simple, that they should find money and recapitalize the mine. They should find money and pay off their just debts. They should find money and make sure that they run the mine to the path of profitability. I believe the minister gave them three grounds to remedy themselves or to pay themselves of the breach as far as their leasehold were concerned. And in all this, the minister gave them 120 days notice pursuant to the mining regulation, and they failed to remedy the breach. They also failed to show cause as to why the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources at the time ought not to terminate the mining lease. And in fact, it should be on record that the minister did not even go by the 120-day notice. If the minister was to go by the 120 days notice, the 120-day notice issued pursuant to the Form 64 of LI 2176 ought to have ended on the 15th of November 2023. But it went as far as the minister even granting a conditional approval, FGR merging with Blue Gold Limited to raise capital to be able to transform the mine. So similarly, nothing was showing up until the minister at the time went through due process, through the recommendation of the Minerals Commission at the time, to terminate the agreement between Blue Gold Resources Limited and open for competitive tendering process where other well-meaning companies also partook in the tendering process. Then Heath Goldfields was seen to be technically and financially viable to take over the assets of the Bogoso-Prestea mine. And I must say that even upon taking off, whilst awaiting the ratification of their lease agreement with the Parliament of Ghana, they have taken proprietary steps in ensuring that they take adequate care of the aged Bogoso-Prestea mine by ensuring that the underground infrastructure is dewatered to ensure the stability of the underground mine infrastructure, again, to ensure that the processing plants and other infrastructure of the mine is maintained with the whole road and other things put into shape to ward off even the encroachers as far as illegal miners taking over some pits of the mining company and ensuring that water even seeps into the underground infrastructure of the mine is protected and prevented, are all in motion whilst even awaiting. And I can tell you that they have been paid almost about 9 months of salary arrears owed the staff of Bogoso-Prestea mine currently. Proprietary steps have been taken to negotiate and pay off the debt with JoyNews and the Electricity Company of Ghana and all that there is. Local contractors have been paid partially. You can even call the community and verify that as far as the liabilities owed local contractors who had performed some services or some acts to the mining company at the time have been taken over by the current owners of the mine. And they have taken proprietary steps in paying off some of the liabilities as far as debt owed local contractors are. Some have been paid half, some have been paid 60%, 40%, 70% in that magnitude. And even in waiting for their mining lease to be ratified by Parliament, injecting capital worth over $50 million into the operations of the mine to be able to ensure that the mine stability is ensured is something that we must commend them. And this is a wholly owned Ghanaian indigenous company that we must all applaud for the dexterity in taking ownership of our mineral resource sector and making sure that capital flight and those manners are reduced to the minimum. Now Ghanaians are taking steps to own our mineral resource. And this is a positive step and a giant step for us that we all must ensure and pat them in the back and ensure that Ghanaians who have the technical know-how, who have the financial method, go into this sector to ensure that the resources that God has blessed us with stays in this republic. It shouldn't be always the Gothenburg era sort of mining governance structure that foreign-owned companies will come take over our large-scale mining sector, then give 10% free carried interest pursuant to the Mine and Minerals Act of 2006 and 703. The government of Ghana only has a 10% shareholding or 10% stake in this. Even if government of Ghana in this instance has zero shareholding in such an enterprise, so far as it is in the hands of a local Ghanaian indigenous company, the revenue, the profit, stays within the shores of this country and help sustain our ailing city that depreciates daily, that depreciates weekly, that depreciates per hour as far as the forest market is concerned. And we must ensure that we take diligent steps in engaging local entrepreneurs also come into this sector, not to run them down as being done by FGR and other conglomerates.
Enoch, I'm grateful for the education you've given us today. Enoch Afuakwa is a lawyer there. He says this is a local business and therefore we must all support the effort by the local people to own the mines in this country. Now, Professor Douglas Boatin says, in a society where criminals believe impunity is assured, crime becomes a profession and corruption a culture disguised as ambition. What is happening to the railway lines is not mere vandalism. It is a symptom of greed, a moral decay eating through the nation's conscience. We are our own worst enemy, for the people in those very communities know the criminals but choose silence over truth. The media should drive through Konongo and see for themselves where Galamsey and environmental terrorists mine openly near main roads and even beside a police station, while community members say nothing, because they too are benefiting from the decay. The forests and rivers must be defended with firm resolve and national unity. Their destruction is not an environmental issue alone. It is a moral crisis that reveals how far we have drifted from conscience. The fight will not be easy. Those profiting from the chaos will resist change, but the rule of law must prevail. The nation must be prepared, informed, and resolute, for defending our natural heritage is defending our collective future. Professor Douglas Boatin brought this one in. Jerry Finn says, KB, I'm listening to you live. I keep saying that we can control Galamsey to make it sustainable, profitable to the nation and keep jobs for the youth working in this industry. The issue of sustainable livelihood programs where they are asked to rear snails and grow palm trees is always not attractive to these young men, and it will be difficult to convince them to take those projects. We keep allowing the Chinese people to bring alluvial equipment. We have Ghanaian welders manufacturing the equipment for one-leg Galamsey operation. One leg. We have allowed the Chinese to be building huge warehouses all over the country for Galamsey equipment, and we don't stop them. We keep on importing excavators for Galamsey. So how are we going to be able to stop illegal mining? And this issue of Chinese building warehouses all over, if you see the warehouses they are building across the country, you'll be shocked.
Have you also seen the mall
Chinese?
at
Yeah.
airport?
Yes. Behind.
Opposite Duncan Williams Church.
Yes.
And they've written boldly
China Mall.
China
It's called
Mall.
China Mall. It's
When you are
very
in
big.
flight and you are entering Ghana, you see
It's China Mall.
China Mall
China
big
Mall.
at the tarmac. I don't know who gave the permit. Well, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I don't know how.
Where is it for saying what you
Maybe the ambition of local businesses in the sake of Ghanaian.
How do you do that?
I've always been saying this. And this China Mall
West.
is
Who gave the
expanding.
permit?
Is expanding everywhere. They've now built one in Takrady, just beside the interchange. A Chinese mall is there. That big one. When I saw it, I was furious. I was like, because they
Who gave the
have
permit
two.
to build that thing on our
They have
our
two.
airport tarmac.
They have two in Spintex.
Yes.
Two China malls, big ones. Then just when you're getting to the airport or you're getting to the Accra Mall,
That's why
there's this one big one coming up.
Where is
Yeah.
cited? You see the.
Oh, you see when you are there's a
roundabout.
runabout behind the Accra Mall.
Yes.
The not the Tetekwashi one.
No, I've seen it going
Yes,
Ashen Chapel.
exactly.
It's seated in the airport, airport land,
Yeah.
airport. Oh, go and see it.
Very
You
huge,
see China more big.
very huge.
Actually-
We are not saying that we are not saying foreigners cannot come in.
Oh, not at all.
But we need
And it's
to
always within the
regulate it.
confines
Yes.
of the law.
You collapse this guy's building.
No, not that place.
And all the enforcement loopholes must be
This
flagged.
one is on this side.
The right side.
I was in Kumasi the other day. They have hotels. Behind the hotels there are warehouses, and you can't even see what's in there. And when you're going to Takrady, even before you get to Dabwasi Junction,
Yeah.
Dabwasi Junction, and some structures coming up, and we are just anyway.
We are
this one-
helpless as a nation, right?
This one says, Mr. President, the situation with Galamsey in Ghana has reached critical juncture,
It is
posing a significant threat to public health and safety. The alarming levels of toxicity and turbidity in our water bodies, coupled with the contamination of our food supply chain by hazardous substances such as lead, mercury, and arsenic, are a ticking time bomb. The exponential rise in kidney, liver, and cancer-related diseases is a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of inaction. We urge you, sir, to take decisive and immediate action to address this crisis. It should not take you 9 months to consult the security apparatus. Enough of rhetoric, Mr. President. Don't talk, do it, like Nike.
See,
Stop Galamsey now. Manche Bruce II in Takrady Brothers.
brother, do you know?